What's up, everybody? This is Dale from Upstate Bets. I'm here with my partner Reoz, bringing you guys some NFL player props for week one of the NFL season. We have a full slate over here on Sunday, including a Sunday night game that we're going to be doing a separate video before between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. We do have a Dak Prescott free square as well. We'll get to that in a second. And then we're going to be doing a Monday night video for that Bills-Jets game in New York on 9/11 in MetLife. So it's going to be a very, awesome game. They gave us a really, really good slate here for NFL Week 1, so can't wait to get to these picks. Before we get to the picks, though, we're over here on Prize Picks. This is our third year over here on Prize Picks. Very awesome app. We use Prize Picks a lot. Not only can you just take full player props over here, but as you can see, we're recording here in the middle of this Kansas City Detroit game. You can take some fourth quarter props in the middle of the game. I mean, they have free squares. Dak Prescott needs over a yard to give out basically any sort of cash here, up to $25 you can play on that. So it's a lot of ways to make money over here on Prize Picks. You can pair up other sports, and if you use our promo code UPSTATE, they're going to match your first deposit all the way up to $100, dollar for dollar. So be sure to use promo code UPSTATE. It helps us out a ton. We do have a Patreon as well, and Riaz, tell them about that.
Yeah, the Patreon is an amazing place to support us further and get more content from us. That's going to be linked in the description below. You can also find it at patreon.com/upstate. We're covering a ton of these NFL slates, but we give out even more picks on the Patreon. We also are doing a little bit of MLB over there. NBA is right around the corner, and especially in October. October with playoff baseball is going to be an amazing time. So $15 a month, two for the price of one. Me and Dale both do separate write-ups over there, so you're getting 4 to 8 picks basically every single day. So it's amazing value, only $15 a month. Linked in the description below.
Yeah, go check that one out. We also have a Twitter as well. We have a TikTok that we're going to be starting up here. We did last year for NBA season. We're going to be starting up doing videos for NFL season starting on Sunday as well. So if you're looking for additional picks, go check out the TikTok, the Patreon, of course, support us further, the Prize Picks promotion. But without further ado, let's get to the props over here on Prize Picks. We're going to be giving out 3 picks. We usually do around 2 to 4 picks. We have 3 guys here that we really like on this slate. Week 1 gets a little dicey. I'm not going to try to get too cute here. What I'm really looking at is this Baltimore Ravens game. They're playing the Houston Texans. Huge favorites, Baltimore here, 9.5 point favorites. Honestly, might get to 10 as the day goes on, the weekend progresses. So the projection for J.K. Dobbins here is at 58.5. I really like more here for him. Just look at the game script. I know they have Gus Edwards, but if you look at how heavy of favorites they are, almost double-digit favorites, you got to assume that they're going to run the ball. Houston Texans, our team, last year ranked dead last in the league, allowing rushing yards. They allowed 170 rushing yards per game, which is absolutely it's just mind-boggling stat how bad they were against the rush. Mind you, they did add a couple pieces. Obviously, you see high draft capital on some guys that should be very good run stoppers. They bring in DeMeco Ryans from the San Francisco 49ers, who should be a big addition not only to the team but to the defense as well. So Will Anderson is going to make his impact. I totally agree. But for J.K. Dobbins, in this offensive line, should be really solid. He's a guy that missed some time, but after he came back from his injury last year, had a really good end of the season. If you look at his last 5 games, hit over this projection on each one of these games. So really like the way this offense is going to look this season. I know they're looking to be more air raid. They brought in Zay Flowers, OBJ. I know they want to pass the ball a little bit more, but they also do say that they want to scale back Lamar Jackson's rushing ability and use him more as a throwing threat. So it allows for a couple more attempts for some of these running backs. So J.K. Dobbins, I don't care if you're trying to make a statement in the passing game for the Ravens. If you're up by a couple of scores, you're not going to try to blow the game away throwing anymore. You're going to run the ball. So it's what I think is going to happen here. I think Dobbins is going to get a lot of carries. He's going to be peppered here, and I love the more.
Love J.K. Dobbins. This is definitely a guy that I'm going to be looking at all season. I think him finally going through training camp, being fully healthy. We saw, like Dale said, him bouncing back last season when he was fully healthy and didn't have a reduced workload, got the full run. He was able to do things that we knew he was going to be able to do. I like that this OC came in and is wanting to bring an up-tempo pace. Jacksonville or Baltimore was very very slow last year. So I think them, getting the ball moving, Lamar adding a couple weapons for him, like you said, Dale. I think it just makes J.K. Dobbins such a good play here. I'm going to jump over two passing touchdowns with Trevor Lawrence, who I believe is going to take another step forward. He looked really good last season. He didn't score as many touchdowns as I would have thought, but we saw the evolvence of um, Evan Ingram. We saw what he was able to do his rookie year, how athletic he is, how good of a route runner he is, how he can use his size in the red zone and just be a really great addition to this team. And then they go out and grab Calvin Ridley, who hasn't played football in about 2 years. So, not dealing with any injuries like he was 2 years ago. With his mental health and everything like that, then gets suspended for gambling. I think a lot of people didn't really know what to think of him joining this Jacksonville team. We know how good he was with the Falcons, and just adding a piece like this to a quarterback who didn't really need that many weapons. He did it without, a superstar as Calvin Ridley has the potential to be. This is just a really great game for him. The Colts ranked 19th in quarterback defense last season. They also played the Colts in the same division last year. He split that, throwing for 2 touchdowns in week 2, and then I believe it was week 7. He only had one in a really rough game. So I like that he scored 2 touchdowns early last year in week 2. Now playing them week 1, I think this is an awesome matchup for him. So I'm gonna go more with the 1.5.
I really like T Law too. I'm kind of high on Jacksonville. I've seen people rank Jacksonville all over the place this season. I've seen them as high as first seed in the AFC, as low as out of the playoffs, and I've seen it all. But I've definitely seen Trevor Lawrence, ascend towards the end of the season. Obviously, he won a playoff game last year, went toe to toe with Mahomes in that second round as well. So Lawrence has got a lot of good things going for him. He's got a lot of good weapons over there. Bringing in Ridley, is a very high ceiling, low floor guy. Like you said, playing 2 years or taking 2 years off, we saw what it can do to a guy like Deshaun Watson, and looks a little rough. And then we can see it pay dividends for them after a couple games, and he emerges as their clear cut number one. And him and Lawrence had a little bit of a connection there in the preseason, and we saw some things from them as well. Kirk looked fantastic. Ingram's obviously a really big threat for them, especially down in the red zone. So Lawrence is a guy, I really wouldn't even be surprised if he was top 3 in passing touchdowns this year in the league. He's got that type of skill. So really good pick there, Reoz. Jacksonville themselves has kind of struggled a little bit with Indianapolis, obviously a division game, but I think Indy, a rebuilding team, doesn't really have a defensive identity right now. So I think Lawrence should be able to kind of carve them up in his second season with Doug Peterson. Really like the more there. We got a guy that we both kind of agree on in the rushing yards. A team that I'm kind of high on here is the Washington Commanders. I like Brian Robinson Jr. I know you do a lot. I like the more on his projection of 57.5 rush yards. We see 5 out of his last 5 dating into last season. He looks really good. I know, there's a lot of, Antonio Gibson buzz, but let me tell you, I watched a preseason game of the Washington Commanders when they bring in Eric Bieniemy, and we saw what the Chiefs did with Bieniemy. Obviously, a totally different, offensive, powerhouse the Chiefs are, and you got star players, 5-star players with Mahomes and Kelsey all around. He had Hill at one point. He's working with a little bit different skill level of players here, but the schemes that he's going to be able to run and get Brian Robinson involved, I think it's going to be fantastic. Over 57.5 seems like a very good projection for him. Really excited to see what they can do.
This is definitely my one of my favorite plays on the slate for Sunday. This is just a perfect matchup. Arizona just looks like a team that is tanking. Washington should really control this game, not only on the offense but the defense. I think they're going to jump out to a big lead, and even dating back to last year, we know he missed a handful of games. It took him a little bit to really find his path in his rookie season after all of the horrible events that happened to start his training camp. But with this Arizona defense ranking 32nd in rushing defense offense, and then just really losing a ton of key pieces on the defense. Brian Robinson, this line is way too low. I definitely want to jump on it before we really start seeing it jump to 70, 65 every single week. So at 57.5, this projection is great. So I also love the more here.
I totally agree, and that's going to be our 3 picks here. We're going to take the more on all 3 guys. Obviously, over on the Patreon, we're going to be dropping some more plays. Usually about 4 to 5 more plays over on the Patreon. Sometimes we're going to sprinkle in some game bets as well if you're interested in stuff like that. Guys we're playing in terms of like, our teams that we're betting on, in terms of against the spread. Find that content over there. Make sure to go check out the TikTok as well. I know a lot of you guys are over on TikTok. A little bit of a short form content. Some different players I sprinkle in over there. Be sure to drop a like on the video as well. Hit the subscribe button. We're dropping a ton of new videos all the way up, not only NFL, but all the way through NBA season. So, we're going to try to grind out this season, try to make it a really good one. We had a good season last year. Let's rebound. Let's make it a really good one this year. And make sure you drop a comment down below and let me know who's you're playing on this slate as well. So, peace out.